All right, imagine this. You go to your local nursery, spend $50 on a nice apple tree, bring it home, plant it in the perfect spot, you water it, you baby it, and then you wait. 3 years later, you're still waiting. No fruit, no harvest. Just a tree taking up 400 square feet and giving you nothing. Now picture this. Your neighbor walks over with a bowl overflowing with fresh berries, figs, and hazelnuts from small bushes she planted 18 months ago. Some are barely waist high, and she spent less on all 9 combined than you spent on that one apple tree. That's the reality when you stop thinking about fruit trees and start thinking about high-yield food-producing bushes. Today, I'm showing you exactly 9 bushes that can do this for you. Whether you're building a backyard food forest, starting a survival garden, or just trying to become more self-sufficient with a small suburban yard, some of these you've never heard of, and one of them, the very last one, can produce up to 100 pints of high-calorie fruit per season and survive being frozen to the ground every single year. If you're into self-sufficiency, permaculture, or smart gardening that puts food on the table, hit that subscribe button right now. Real strategies, real plants, real results. Let's get into it. All right, bush number 1. This might be the most underrated food-producing plant in all of North America. The goumi berry. Most of you have never heard of it, and that's exactly why I'm putting it first. The goumi berry, Elaeagnus multiflora, is a deciduous shrub from East Asia growing 5 to 8 feet tall and wide. Hardy in zones 4 through 9, partially self-fertile but produces heavier crops with a pollination partner. Starts bearing in year 2 or 3, and a mature plant can produce 10 to 15 pounds of bright red cherry-sized fruit per season. But here's what makes goumi a permaculture superstar. It fixes nitrogen. The roots form a symbiotic relationship with soil bacteria called frankia that pull nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into plant-available fertilizer. Research shows growing goumi near fruit trees can increase their yields by up to 10%. So while your goumi is producing antioxidant-rich berries, it's making your entire garden more fertile. It's like planting a fruit bush and a bag of fertilizer at the same time. The berries taste like tart cherries with a sweet tart finish, packed with vitamins A, C, and E, plus essential fatty acids. Use them fresh, in jams, pies, or dry them. Pest and disease-free, tolerating poor soil, drought, and even air pollution. If you're doing edible landscaping or food forest planting, goumi should be one of the first things you put in the ground. Bush number 2. This one holds a title no other berry bush can claim. Honeyberry, also called haskap, produces the earliest fruit of the entire growing season, earlier than strawberries, earlier than anything. While every other plant is still waking up from winter, honeyberries are already ripening. You're picking them 2 to 3 weeks before your first strawberry is ready. The cold hardiness really sets them apart. These bushes survive down to negative 40 degrees. Open flowers tolerate temps as low as 14 degrees Fahrenheit. If you garden in zones 2 through 7 and you've been told your climate is too cold for fruit, honeyberry proved that wrong. Mature plants produce 5 to 15 pounds per bush starting by year 2 or 3, productive for 30 years or more. The berries are elongated, dark blue, tasting like a blend of blueberry, grape, and raspberry. Here's the critical thing. Honeyberries require cross-pollination from a different compatible variety. One bush alone produces almost nothing. You need at least 2 varieties blooming at the same time. Boreal Beauty and Boreal Beast are excellent. Aurora and honeybee work great together. Get the pollination right, and you'll be shocked at the harvest. For cold climate gardeners, honeyberry is non-negotiable. Number 3, Nanking cherry. Want a plant that looks gorgeous while bearing you in fruit? This is it. Introduced to the U.S. in 1882, popular for decades before falling out of favor in the 1940s. For the home gardener and homesteader, this bush deserves a massive comeback. In early spring, before leaves emerge, Nanking cherry bushes explode with dense clusters of white and pink blossoms. Cotton candy levels of bloom. Then those flowers become small, bright red, tart, sweet cherries ripening in June and July. A mature bush produces 15 to 50 pounds of fruit. Utah State University Extension confirms these yields, and bushes start producing in just 2 to 3 years. The fruit is smaller than standard cherries, about a ½ inch in diameter, but fantastic for pies, jams, jellies, syrups, and wine. Bushes grow 6 to 10 feet tall, hardy in zones 2 through 7, handling extreme cold, heat, drought, and almost any soil. Adapted from Mongolia to the American Midwest. Nanking cherries need cross-pollination, so plant at least 2 bushes 6 to 10 feet apart for a gorgeous edible hedge. These bushes can live up to 50 years, half a century of free fruit from a plant that makes your yard stunning. Bush number 4. A native North American powerhouse most American gardeners are sleeping on, while Canadians have grown it commercially for decades. Serviceberry, also known as saskatoon. Cultivated varieties are bigger, juicier, sweeter, and more productive than wild ones. A mature Saskatoon produces 10 to 30 pounds per plant. Montana State University trials found top varieties like Northline and Lee 8 averaged over 11 pounds per plant. Start bearing in 2 to 4 years, reach full production around year 8, and keep producing for 20 years or more. The flavor sets them apart, a cross between blueberry and almond with subtle, nutty sweetness. The tiny seeds contain a compound similar to what gives almonds their flavor. Perfect fresh, in pies and muffins, dried like raisins, or in jams and syrups. Saskatoons are hardy down to negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit. They tolerate a much wider soil pH range than blueberries, so if your soil is too alkaline for blueberries, Saskatoons are your answer. Self-fertile, low-maintenance, native, and incredibly productive. Grow them as a hedge, specimen shrub, or small tree. Stunning white spring flowers and brilliant orange fall foliage. Your neighbors will think you planted expensive ornamentals while you harvest 30 pounds of free fruit every summer. Bush number 5. Jostaberry, pronounced Jostaberry. Scientists engineered this to be the perfect berry bush, a hybrid cross between blackcurrant and gooseberry developed in Germany. The idea: take the huge yields and rich flavor of black currants, combine with the size and versatility of gooseberries, and remove the thorns and disease problems. They nailed it. Jostaberries produce large jet black berries about the size of a small grape with sweet tart flavor richer than either parent. A mature bush yields 10 to 20 pounds per season, self-fertile, so you only need 1 plant, though a few together improves yields. Start bearing in 1 to 2 years, full production in about 5 years. Here's the game changer: completely thornless. If you've ever bled through a gooseberry harvest, you know what a massive deal that is. Also highly resistant to powdery mildew, leaf spot, and white pine blister rust. Bushes grow 3 to 6 feet tall, hardy down to negative 40 degrees, thriving in full sun to partial shade. Loaded with vitamin C, incredible for jams, jellies, pies, wine, and they freeze beautifully. If you love currants or gooseberries but were put off by thorns, diseases, or fussy requirements, Jostaberry gives you all the benefits with none of the headaches. Bush number 6. This one surprises people because most gardeners don't think of it as food. Rosa rugosa. The rugosa rose. Most people hear rose and think ornamental, but Rosa rugosa is one of the most nutritionally powerful food plants you can grow, and almost nobody is taking advantage of it. The secret is in the hips. After petals fall in late summer and early fall, Rosa rugosa produces massive rose hips, 4 to 5 times larger than other species. Those hips are one of the richest natural sources of vitamin C on the planet, 20 to 40 times more vitamin C per weight than oranges. Research found Rosa rugosa had the highest vitamin C content of all rose species tested. Rose hips also contain beta-carotene, lycopene, flavonoids, essential fatty acids, and anti-inflammatory compounds. During World War II, Britain organized massive rose hip harvesting campaigns for vitamin C syrup when citrus imports were cut off. This is literally survival food with centuries of medicinal use. Rosa rugosa grows as a dense, thorny shrub 4 to 6 feet tall, incredibly tough, tolerating salt spray, sandy soil, wind, cold down to zone 2, and complete neglect. Spreads by suckers, forming a dense, impenetrable hedge, doubling as a security barrier. The beautiful pink or white flowers are fragrant and edible, usable in teas, salads, and rose water. Harvest hips after the first frost when bright red and slightly soft. Dry them for tea, simmer into syrup, process into jam, or grind into powder as a daily vitamin C supplement. A food-producing hedge that's gorgeous, smells amazing, provides vitamin C all winter, and keeps intruders out. That's a multifunction permaculture plant. Bush number 7. If you've been buying these at the health food store for $15 a bag, you're going to love this. Goji berry. Dried goji berries retail for $15 to $30 per pound, and the superfood industry has made billions marketing them as exotic, hard-to-get health food. Here's what they don't want you to know. Goji berries grow on a bush that thrives in your backyard, even in poor soil, even with almost no care. Lycium barbarum is a deciduous, woody shrub growing 5 to 8 feet tall, hardy in zones 3 through 10, tolerates drought, poor soil, alkaline conditions, and partial shade. A mature plant produces 2 to 6 pounds per season starting in year 2 or 3. At $10 a pound dried, that's serious savings. Fresh goji berries, which you basically can't buy in stores, are far superior in flavor and nutrition to dried ones. Packed with antioxidants, amino acids, vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and zinc. Traditional Chinese medicine has used them for thousands of years. Fresh berries taste like a mild, slightly sweet tomato with berry notes. Eat them fresh. Dry them, add to smoothies, trail mixes, oatmeal, or brew as tea. Goji bushes produce fruit on new growth, so they benefit from annual pruning. They send out runners and can spread, so give them space or use a root barrier. The leaves are edible too, making nutritious tea and greens. For survival gardens or growing the most nutrient-dense food per square foot, goji is essential. Bush number 8. This one is fundamentally different because it doesn't produce fruit, it produces fat and protein, hazelnut in bush form. If you're serious about food self-sufficiency, you need calorie-dense, shelf-stable, nutrient-rich food that stores for months without refrigeration. Almost nothing fits that better than hazelnuts. 18% protein and 60% healthy monounsaturated fat, loaded with vitamin E, magnesium, iron, calcium, potassium, and B vitamins. They store for months in the shell at room temperature. No canning, freezing, or dehydrating needed. Just dry and put in a cool, dark place. Shelf-stable, calorie-dense food from your backyard. In bush form, hazelnuts stay compact at 6 to 12 feet tall. Modern hybrid varieties combine large, flavorful European hazelnuts with cold-hardy, disease-resistant American ones. University of Minnesota research shows hybrids producing 4 to 12 pounds per bush, averaging around 7 pounds. Start bearing in 3 to 5 years, mature bushes up to 20 pounds. An orchard remains productive 40 to 50 years. 4 or 5 bushes along a property line could produce 40 to 100 pounds of high-protein, high-fat nuts every year for decades. Hazelnuts need cross-pollination, so plant at least 2 different varieties. Look for blight-resistant hybrids like Jefferson, Yamhill, or newer Cornell and OSU releases. Wind-pollinated, so pollen travels easily. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. In a true preparedness garden, hazelnuts fill the gap no fruit or berry can. Calorie density and macronutrients of a major food crop from a bush you plant once and harvest for a lifetime. Ultimate long-term food security. And bush number 9, the grand finale. Most people think figs only grow in warm Mediterranean climates. They're wrong. The Chicago hardy fig. Discovered growing in a Chicago backyard in the 1970s, surviving brutal Midwest winters that kill normal fig trees. Roots are hardy down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Above ground stems hardy to about 10 degrees. Even if stems freeze completely to the ground, this plant regrows from the roots every spring and still produces fruit that same season because it fruits on new wood. The plant can literally freeze to the ground, come back from its roots, and give you a full harvest by late summer in zones 6 through 10. Grows as a multi-trunk bush or small tree 10 to 15 feet tall in zones 5 and even parts of zone 4. With protection, it renews itself every year. Production is remarkable. One Green World nursery lists yields at 30 to 50 pounds per plant. Some growers report up to 100 pints in a single season. Medium-sized fruit with purplish-brown skin and sweet strawberry pink flesh inside, perfect fresh, dried, preserved, or on charcuterie boards. Figs are high-calorie, nutrient-dense with potassium, calcium, magnesium, and fiber. A single fig contains about 47 calories compared to 5 to 10 for most berries. For actual food production and caloric self-sufficiency, figs are in a completely different league. Chicago Hardy is self-pollinating. You only need one plant. Very few pests or disease problems. Deer generally leave it alone. Drought-tolerant, once established, fruiting within 1 to 2 years. Italian immigrants in the early 1900s brought fig trees and developed ingenious overwintering methods, some digging up half the root ball and burying the tree under leaves. With Chicago Hardy, you don't need any of that. Plant it, mulch it, and let it do its thing. Even if it dies back, it comes back every time. So let's look at the big picture. Combine all 9 bushes strategically, and you have a self-sustaining food production system from early spring through late fall. Honeyberries ripen first, then goumi and Nanking cherries in June, service berries and Jostaberries in July, Goji berries through fall, Rosa rugosa hips after frost, Chicago Hardy figs in late summer, and hazelnuts in September and October. 7 to 8 months of fresh food from 9 bushes taking up less space than 2 fruit trees. The goumi is improving the soil for all of them. That's permaculture in action. 5 quick bonus strategies. 1. Food Forest Guild approach. Tall producers like fig and hazelnut as canopy, medium bushes as understory, compact ones around edges. 2. Succession planting with early, mid, and late varieties. 3. Value-added products like rose hip powder, hazelnut butter, and preserves. 4. Feed the soil with thick mulch and compost. The goumi is already fixing nitrogen. 5. Preserve everything. Freeze berries, dry figs, cure hazelnuts, jar up jams. True food independence. Here's your homework. Pick 3 bushes that make sense for your zone and space. Order them this week. You need 50 to 100 square feet and 3 well-chosen bushes. Within 2 years, you'll outproduce a fruit tree's first decade. Drop a comment with your 3 picks, smash that like button, share this with someone staring at their fruitless apple tree, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.